Why do you think Trump picked little Marco Rubio
exactly
to be the secretary? Narco Rubio to be the Secretary of State because he was told to by his donors and Benjamin Netanyahu. That's why. New from Dropside, Larry Ellison vetted Marco Rubio for fealty to Israel. So they got some hacked emails, and it turns out that the people who really are in charge of Trump's cabinet is Israel. And this guy here, that's Larry Ellison. He's the guy he's the Zionist, the Jewish billionaire who now owns TikTok and 1/6 of all the American media because they bought Paramount.
And that's thanks to Bill Clinton.
And that's thanks to Bill Clinton, who through the Telecommunications Act of 1996 got rid of all the safeguards around media consolidation. So we used to have 50 giant media companies. They were already giant, but now they're condensed down to 6, and he owns one of them. So he owns 1/6 of the American media. Getting harder and harder to call it anti-Semitic when somebody say that the Jewish people run the media. Getting harder and harder. The billionaire Oracle founder is on track to take control of the American media. Well, he's on track. He's got it. How do I know Larry Ellison and Israel is controlling Trump's cabinet? At least the Secretary of State, probably the most important cabinet member. So this guy, Ron Prosser, sent an email to Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison, the guy who owns TikTok and 1/6 of the American media now. Larry, hi. I really enjoyed spending the afternoon and evening with you. Time flies with you. Thank you. Big hug from Ron. Okay. All right. Here's another one. This is on the April 26, 2020. Larry, hi. Please send me his speech. Thanks. His speech, meaning Marco Rubio's speech. On April 30th, Prosser sent another message to Ellison to follow up, sharing his phone number and thanking him again for the evening they spent together. How was the conversation with Mario Rubio? He meant Marco. Did he pass your scrutiny? Did you have a chance to talk about Israel? Would love to chat. Well, here's what Ellison says back. I had a great time too, Ron. I'm looking forward to the next time. P.S. I'll tell you how dinner goes with Senator Rubio. Oh, really? A few hours later, Ellison responded in the affirmative. Hi, Ron. Great meeting with Marco Rubio. I set him up to meet with Tony Blair. Marco will be a great friend for Israel.
Oh, he did suck his dick.
So there you go. And this is Larry. Hi. How was the conversation? There it is. Did you have a chance to talk about Israel? Would love to chat. Big hug again. Thanks for a wonderful evening. Down here, great meeting with Marco. I set him up. There it is. That's the actual emails that I just read to you. So there they are. A month later, Ellison, who had backed Mitt Romney in 2012, hosted a fundraiser for Marco Rubio at his mansion in Woodside, California. That would be the beginning of a broader range of support that the tech billionaire would offer in attempting to bolster Rubio's campaign. Over the course of the 2015-2016 primary, Ellison plowed $5 million into the Conservative Solution Super PAC, which supported Rubio, who, as Ellison privately hoped, advocated vocally for Israel throughout the course of his presidential bid and beyond. Ellison's support for Rubio perplexed some political observers at the time. The CEO of the political crowdfunding platform CrowdPAC, known as CrowdBlue, Stephen Hilton, told the San Francisco Chronicle that he found it interesting that Ellison, who was not then well known as a supporter of right-wing causes, should support a candidate as conservative as Marco Rubio, speculating that it could reflect Rubio's past effort to implement immigration reform, a crucial issue for Silicon Valley leaders like Ellison. The correspondence between the Israeli diplomat and Ellison is part of an archive of emails released by Handala, a hacking group suspected of having connections to an Iranian Ministry of Intelligence. The documents were then obtained by Distributed Denial of Secrets, a nonprofit whistleblower, and file-sharing website, where they are presently available to a select pool of verified researchers and journalists. Now, while the emails were posted without metadata that would allow their authenticity to be verified, they contain hundreds of photographs, documents, and other information from Prosser and his contacts, including non-public information verified as accurate by Dropsite. I'm pretty sure Prosser, the guy who was in those emails with Larry Ellison, was at the time the ambassador from Israel. Can you check that? I'm pretty sure that was. The archive ends in 2016, suggesting that the data had been exfiltrated prior to being posted by Handala in October. The announcement by the Handala hack team that it had gained access to Prosser's emails was made around the same time it announced a trove of emails from former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. Ellison has given or pledged more than $350 million to Tony Blair's world-changing project, making him the largest donor and helping it expand around the globe. Now, and you know Blair is now going to be the guy, according to Trump's peace plan, running Gaza. Isn't it weird? It's always Israel.
What an honor.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. What a privilege for them.
TBI has effectively become an offshoot of Oracle, the outlets reported, with the key Blair advisor sitting on both the boards of Oracle and TBI. If the relationship persists, Ellison and Oracle are positioned to take a lead role in redeveloping Gaza. We don't have to guess at what type of society Ellison would hope to usher in. On the investor call last year, Ellison said that mass surveillance is an inevitability and will keep the citizenry at their best behavior. You want to see this? Here. You want to see him saying it? Here he is saying it. I'll show you him saying it.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on.
So he's talking about mass surveillance, living in a surveillance state that he wants to usher in. And he's saying everybody's going to be on their best behavior. He goes, the police are going to be on their best behavior. Really? Because we're going to be recording everything they do. Have you ever heard of something called YouTube, Larry? You've never seen the endless dedicated channels of cops beating the crap out of the wrong guy just for fun? They're not on their best behavior, and they know they're being videotaped. That's just nuts.
Will Larry be on his best behavior?
Yeah, what about you, Larry?
Do I get to watch him shower? I don't.
Right?
Best behavior. Because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this.
So that's the guy who now owns a sixth of the American media, is vetting American politicians for Israel, and owns TikTok. Larry Ellison, what's that?
Based on his tasteful plastic surgery, I think he's wise enough to make these decisions for us.
He looks like one of those wax figures, and they forgot to crank up the AC, and now he's melting.
Yeah, he looks like a Babylon 5 alien from WB9
right?
Back in the 90s.
Yes.
Like a knockoff Star Trek with a weird head.
So the billionaire co-founder of tech giant Oracle, on and off again the richest man in the world and a staunch supporter of Israel, is set to take the lead role in reshaping TikTok in the United States. His son, David Ellison, is moving to take over large swaths of the media, including CBS, CNN, Warner Brothers, and Paramount, reportedly bringing in the Free Press's Barry Weiss to shape editorial direction. Oh, yeah, she's going to shape editorial direction? just like the Colonel cooks the chicken at KFC. The Ellison family is cornering the market and attention and data the same way the Vanderbilts did railroads and the Rockefellers did oil. How they plan to operate that monopoly is, of course, to be tested out in what President Donald Trump is calling New Gaza, the techno-dystopian free trade zone that is to be administered by a board of peace led by Trump and Ellison's longtime political and business vehicle, Tony Blair. Ellison has given and pledged more than $350 million to the Tony Blair Institute, which Blair has used to advance Ellison's vision of a marriage between government, corporate power, and tech surveillance. So this, again, you don't live in a democracy. You live in an oligarchy run by billionaires. the billionaire is dictating to Tony Blair what's happening, to dictating to Trump. They're getting their Zionist Israeli puppets to run Gaza. Trump is not doing that. This is all coming from Israel and the Zionists that control it.
Hey, you remember when he was on that show and he said if Obama feels like we need to have mass surveillance, is when the Snowden stuff came out, and he was like, "Well, President Obama thinks we need it."
Who said this?
Do you think Larry Ellison?
Oh, really?
In an interview. Yeah. Do you think maybe it wasn't that Obama thinks we need it? It said he thinks we need it, and he's been in control for quite some time. Because I think like these guys, why would he like Obama and Trump? That doesn't make any sense.
Right? Well, because
a treasonous billionaire.
So Oracle is the company he owns. By providing database infrastructure and cloud computing services to other huge enterprises like FedEx and NVIDIA, it has quietly become one of the world's most powerful companies in the world.
Oh, and it's the CIA also. So we don't even have capitalism. We got China style.
We've got China. We are China.
State run.
That's right. As the nation's top diplomat, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also played a role in the TikTok talks that steered the company toward Ellison. So this is how Marco Rubio helped Israel and Zionists and Larry Ellison take control of TikTok. After playing a lead role as a senator in demonizing the TikTok app, he was also closely involved in the rollout of Trump's plan for Gaza's future, which hands the enclave over to Blair. It hands Gaza over to Blair, Tony Blair, which is a puppet of Larry Ellison, which is a puppet of Israel. Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, tasked the Blair Institute in the spring with coming up with a post-war plan for Gaza, which was recently completed. The Times of it. So do you see? So they got Tony Blair to do it. So you don't think it's just Benjamin Netanyahu doing it? So they get Larry Ellison to give Tony Blair $350 million. So now he's the puppet of Larry Ellison, who just does what Benjamin Netanyahu wants. So do you see? It's you again. You don't live in a democracy. You live in an oligarchy. That Rubio finds himself in such a central position is in part thanks to Ellison, who has been a major patron of the Cuban-American former senator from Florida. Ellison first vetted Rubio for his fealty towards Israel back in 2015, according to a previously unreported email correspondent. So I just showed you those emails. So that's what this is referring to. Rubio rose to prominence as a Tea Party-backed conservative, Senate upstart in 2010, launching a presidential campaign in 2016. As Secretary of State, Rubio launched an unprecedented crackdown on free speech, detaining and attempting to deport critics of Israel precisely for the crime of their criticism of Israel. In early 2015, Ellison was emailing Ron Presser, who was serving at the tail end. Yeah, he was the Israeli ambassador to the the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, not the United States. So those emails I showed you was between Larry Ellison, the guy who owns Oracle, TikTok, and now CBS News, CNN, Paramount, 1/6 of the American media. Ron Prosser was the U.S. ambassador, was the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. So that's who he was talking to in those emails. He's not the ambassador to the United States. He currently serves as the Israeli ambassador to Germany. Isn't that interesting? So what you're seeing here is that's like a Trojan horse, right? But no, we're going to have Tony Blair run it. He's impartial. So that's called a Trojan horse. Tony Blair is under the thumb. He's got $350 million from Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison, giant Zionist. It's really basically Israel. And so, Zionists come in town riding on top of the Trojan horse, and still nobody notices. The emails show Israeli diplomat and Ellison arranging to meet with one another, with Prosser soliciting Ellison's views on Rubio as a potential candidate who would advocate on behalf of Israel. On April 26, Prosser sent Ellison an email titled Rubio Speech, asking the Oracle founder and the CTO to send him a copy of the speech from the then candidate. The next day, the two trade. So I already showed you that. So I already showed you all this. Okay, so now we're moving on. Okay, let's do this. So Oracle, Larry Ellison, are going to take a lead role in redeveloping Gaza. So that's just like Benjamin Netanyahu is going to take the lead role. And they're going to usher in a surveillance state because he's all about the surveillance state. And that's how we got Marco. Why do you think Trump picked little Marco Rubio
Exactly.
to be the secretary, Narco Rubio, to be the Secretary of State? Because he was told to by his donors and Benjamin Netanyahu. That's why. Ellison has never been shy about his overwhelming support for Israel. In addition to his growing role as a political power broker, Ellison, who briefly became the richest man in the world this year after a rise in Oracle stock prices, said at a 2014 fundraiser attended by other pro-Israel billionaires, there is no greater honor than supporting the Israeli military. No greater honor. This is a guy...
Well, Jeffrey Epstein thought that too.
That's right. And congratulations. This means Marco Rubio is a traitor. That's what this means.
Yeah. Much like Larry Ellison.
Much like Larry Ellison. These are traitors to America. In 2017, Ellison gave Friends of the IDF a gift of $16.6 million in 2017 in what was the largest ever donation to the organization. Ellison is known to be close to Israeli Prime Minister Ben. You know, I'm kidding. Who has been a guest at the private Hawaiian island so Ellison owns an island in Hawaii. Oh. He owns an island.
Yeah, you know Joe Rogan hunted there, and Ellison tried to pressure him to have Netanyahu on some years ago.
I did not know this.
And, yeah, Joe told me, and so and it's not that he wouldn't have had him on. It's just that you're not allowed to ask him questions. It's like Kamala. They were going to give him a pre-approved script of things he would be allowed to say. So I'm not talking to him. You try to pressure him into doing PR. Like, that's what was wrong with the Nelk boys talking to Netanyahu. They had pre-approved questions. They didn't get to ask anything.
So here's what Glenn Greenwald says. The most important media story by far is how Larry Ellison, the largest ever private donor to the IEF, is buying up the largest media properties, not just CBS and Paramount, but also TikTok. At exactly the same time, support for Israel in the United States is unraveling. And then the Ellison, so they're set to take a lead role in reshaping TikTok in the United States. His son David is moving to take over large swaths of the media, including CBS, CNN, Warner Brothers, Paramount. Ellison's family is cornering the market in attention. So we already showed you all this. So that's who's really running America. I hope you know. It's Israel and the Zionists. And Larry Ellison, they don't even hide it. They're just going out and buying the media. They don't care that it plays right into the anti-Semitic tropes that the Jews run the media. They just go ahead.
Look what they do to the Jews. They kill Jews as much as they would kill Arabs.
That's right. They beat.
You wouldn't have a Hannibal directive if you didn't kill Jews.
That's right.
They're not your friend.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd be loyal to Israel.
Israel's not your friend. Israel isn't even a friend to the Israeli people. If you don't go along with their unbelievable slaughter and ethnic cleansing, they will beat the crap out of you, and they'll do it right on camera. We've showed you that, how the Hasidic Jews do not. There's a big swath of Hasidic Jews that do not go along with this. Even the state of Israel, they say it's a blaspheme to have the state of Israel.
They're Orthodox, yeah. That's where they created the term ultra-Orthodox to marginalize them.
The tumultural, yeah, they call them ultra-Orthodox. That's right. Yeah. And they know that that the Zionists, according to the Orthodox Jews, that Zionists aren't even religious. That's the
Frankists. That's who that is.
What's that?
That's the Frankists. That's the cult that infiltrated into Judaism, and that's what the Orthodox Jews have talked about for many years and don't like. And that's where you got the idea of secular. Secular is supposed to mean I don't have any religion, but no, this is like anti. This is real creepy what they did.
So this is way creepier than you can imagine, and it's happening under President Trump.
You can see the fruits of it.
It would have happened under President Harris. It happened under President Biden, President Obama. There's no difference. No matter who you vote for, you get John McCain.
How many people voted against the Epstein files being released? Was it 217?
218. I think it's so. What are there? It's 434 members of Congress. So I think it's 218 to 216. So 216. Yeah.
So that's how many traitors work in the government.
At least.
There's no reason you would vote against that unless you're a traitor to America itself.
Yeah. And if you want to hear my jokes about this, I'll see you in Irvine, California, Australia, Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving, and Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. October 19th, we'll be in Irvine, California. We'll be in Australia. Then we'll be in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving, and then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.